Toshiba people, I thought the privatization is the only way.
Akio, thank you for coming here again. This is your
pleasure.
second time on the podcast.
Right.
You were my 20th.
Oh.
Now you're my 316th episode in the podcast. And the other day we were walking, I was down in B1 and you came by and you said, Lance,
Right.
I just had the biggest deal of my life.
Right.
Now, as the head of Lehman before, now that was
Right.
the biggest shock of your
Right,
life
yeah.
when Lehman went under and you were the president of that. Tell us, what was this deal?
Well, it's all in the newspapers, you know. I started about 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago, winter of 2021, got an idea to privatize Toshiba. And if you know read the newspaper, there are a lot of articles about history of Toshiba in the mid 2015, 2016. They were caught by the window dressing of the financials, and they got in trouble with the authorities and regulators. And then their investment in nuclear company Westinghouse in the U.S. was very bad. They lost, I forgot the exact amount, but $5 billion or so. And then they were at the brink of short of money. Their net asset was negative.
Right.
So before the financial year closes, they have to raise money. Otherwise, they're going to be delisted from Tokyo Exchange. So somehow Goldman Sachs got into it, and they proposed that we could raise $5-6 billion for you to cover the net assets loss.
It was only $5 or $6 billion?
Yeah, it's $1 billion.
I understand that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, but I thought Toshiba was much bigger than that.
Oh yeah, when we bought it, but the to cover the loss, the net assets becoming negative,
Right.
what you needed was $5-6 billion.
Okay,
right?
was that mostly because of Westinghouse?
Mostly Westinghouse, right?
Okay, it wasn't
Right.
their fault. Okay.
So the CEO of Toshiba then, I don't know, he went to talk to Goldman, or Goldman went to talk to him and propose we could raise you money. And then they got these 5 hedge funds, what you call now activists, to give money to Toshiba, and they survived. But now once the activists was in activists, I think there is a merit and demerit. You know, it's been said in the newspaper or magazines. Merit is they tell CEOs who is just sitting on his position, relax, you got to do something to improve your corporate return and businesses. And there are a number of those CEOs in Japan, in my view. So they invest, but the demerit is they want to get the money back very quickly, right?
That's true.
And they're going to, a couple of things they always ask is to raise the dividend, right? If they have a cash, they're going to target mostly the company who has a lot of cash. So they say, you're not using cash very effectively, so you should return to the investors. So, but on the CEO part, they must be thinking, you know, some are very seriously, the others are not very seriously, but thinking about using this money in the future to improve the operation. But once the activists is in, if they don't move quickly, they will ask the dividend payment, increase the dividend, or they get rid of some of the assets or subsidiaries which is not doing well, or non-core subsidiaries, what they say. So that's what happened in Toshiba after the 5 activists invested in them. And then first they, about 2-3 years ago, they proposed that Toshiba will be broken down into 3 pieces, and some of the subsidiaries should be sold. And then they changed to break it down 2 pieces. But that idea didn't fly because the increased cost by doing it, and a lot of people have to be fired. So one of the private equity firms, CVC, one of the largest in Europe, they proposed we're going to buy all Toshiba. That was, when was that? About 2.5 years ago. And then, but that didn't make activists and other shareholders happy. So the idea was rejected. And then the activists, as I said before, they proposed a breakdown of Toshiba operation and try to sell some of the businesses and get the money back. But that didn't go well because, as I said, it's a lot of operational problem and a lot of people have to be fired, and that will cost some money.
Right.
So I was thinking with some of my colleagues, maybe privatization again is the only solution.
But wait, how did you get it? Why were you involved with this in the first place?
Well, I worked for first job was IBJ.
Right.
Now it's called Mizuho.
Right.
And then I I went to New York and started working for Goldman Sachs.
Right.
At Goldman, I worked for 7 years.
Then you
And
came
then
back
I
with Morgan?
came back in Tokyo and became the head of investment banking at Morgan Stanley.
Okay.
And I was the head of Lehman Brothers Japan. I've been working in this investment banking business so many years. I got
Right.
a lot of
But
people I know.
So the people were contacting you during this time, during all this turmoil.
Right.
Were you sitting in any of the meetings?
No, I always speak to my clients.
So it was on the outside.
And
So
my
you're on the
current
periphery
clients-
of it.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I know. I like to talk to people.
All right.
That's a part of
That's
a
right.
very important part of the investment banking business. So you have to connect with the people and talk to people and get the idea,
Right.
listen to what they say and what they need. So
Right.
that's what I've been doing for the past 40 years or so. So I thought, talking to some Toshiba people, I thought the privatization is the only way to pay back the activists so that they can go home with some profit. And they did. That's what happened with the price of $4,610, the offer price for TOB, and all the activists made profit. So I hope they're happy. And now,
Wait, break it down for laymen. Okay, now when you go private, what happens when you take a company and it goes private? Because that's not the same as going public, is it?
the opposite, right?
It's just the opposite,
Yeah,
right?
the opposite, right?
Because Toshiba was already public.
It was public.
Okay.
It is public, but now
Right.
On December 20th, they're going to be delisted.
And become
Now
public.
on TOB, which finished in September, my client, Japan Industrial Partners, one of the largest Japanese PE funds, they did TOB, and then they got about 78% of all the shares. Took more than
TOB is
takeover bid,
okay,
right? Well, it's called tender offer.
right.
So that means try to buy all the stock of Toshiba from the market or from the investors, and then delist it from the exchange and make it private company.
Private. So in doing that, they have to pay activists.
Yeah.
So now they're activists.
Yeah, so you have to negotiate with the activists and make them happy with this
Make them
price.
happy, right, this price.
Can you sell the stock to us?
Right.
Right. And then there was a lot of negotiation with
So you did all of that.
the company, mainly Japan Industrial Partners did. We were advisors.
Okay. On how to go about doing
yeah,
it.
right, yeah,
Okay.
right.
And that was 2 years in the making. You did
2 years making, exactly. Yeah, the 2 years, winter time, yeah, November or December, I forgot exactly. 2 years time. Every week I had a meeting with the people at Japan Industrial Partners. Every weekend. Yeah, I'm as a member of a Tokyo American Club. There was a basketball on Sunday evening.
Right.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends. I would come to 2 years ago, I would come to every Sunday evening and play with the guys.
Right.
But since this project started, I couldn't do it because every Sunday I had a meeting. Every Sunday evening for 100 weeks.
How many weeks?
100 weeks.
100
yeah,
weeks.
2 years. Yeah. So we were in a very confidential place that nobody would come or no media would come. We had very secretive meetings.
Right.
Yeah. And to talk about strategy, what we're going to do. First we talked about how we can raise money from the investor because we needed money. This was $1.6 billion deal. We needed
$1.6 billion.
I mean, $16 billion.
$16 billion deal.
deal,
Okay, right.
So we talked to several investors, corporations, and some financial institutions asking them to invest in this. And some are foreign investors from the United States, and mostly. And then we're going to add bank financing. So we went to Mizuho, Sumitomo, Mitsui Sumitomo, and Mitsubishi, and we tried to raise money.
Okay.
We did. So we collected $16 billion, and then we launched TOB, and I think it was in August. And then we told publicly that we were going to buy all shares at the price of 4,610 yen, which was a little premium, over the then price of Toshiba.
Right.
So, and then on September 22, we found out 78%, more than 2/3 of the investors offered their shares to us. So that went well. And there are still about 20% remaining stockholders that they didn't offer at the tender offer. So we're going to, we had this, last week we had the extraordinary shareholder meeting, and we decided we can buy. By law, for the remaining small shares, we can buy.
By law?
We can force them to sell.
You can force them to
right.
sell.
So, and that's going to end, this process will end December 20th, and then Toshiba will be privatized.
Now, when you say that you can force them to buy at the price that you offered,
yes.
okay,
right.
so they can't exceed
Right.
that. They're holding on for one reason, to make
Well,
more money, of
some
course.
of the individual investors don't bother, because to tender offers, you have to go to the securities companies and open an account. And
Okay, so they don't want to bother with it.
They don't want to bother, yeah, right, yeah.
So it's just easier for them if you just go
That's
ahead
right,
and go through
right,
it and
right.
do that.
So, but after December 20, around that time, the Toshiba will be 100% owned by the investors led by Japan Industry Partners.
All right.
And then now new phase will start. New phase is how to make, revive the Toshiba.
And you're going to stay involved? You plan on staying
to
involved?
some extent, but
some extent.
mainly the Japan Industry Partners will be the guy
Okay.
who is going to create a new management and do everything.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
And this is the biggest deal in your whole life?
Our biggest deal, yeah.
All right. It has to be at $16 billion.
Right. Yeah, it was big.
At 71 years old, you're killing it. So now what do you plan on doing? What do you plan on doing with your life now?
Well, I like music, so I'd like to, if I could, I want to go back to music school.
You can buy a couple of, what do you mean? You can,
Oh, no,
you can start your own.
I've been playing flute for 50 years.
That's right.
And then I do some other instrument, but what I don't know is about music theory.
Oh, okay, you never studied music theory.
Yeah, I never did
So
the
you
piano.
don't, can you read music?
I can read music.
Okay, but you don't know the theory.
But theory, and I don't know that. The flute is just one line, right?
That's right.
But music is a lot of chords, and there are some theory about movement of the
Yes,
music
right,
and
right,
all
of
those
course.
things.
Yeah.
If you learn the piano, I think you probably could learn a lot of it.
That's
But
the
I
base.
never,
That's the
yeah,
base.
I never played piano. So
Right.
yeah, maybe that's one thing.
Well, we're on similar journeys because, I play the sax.
Yeah, right.
And I started just 6 years ago now. It's 6 years ago that I started sax. And I did study music theory, but
Right.
online.
Yeah. Oh.
So I took the
so you
course and
did.
went through there. And I taught myself how to read as well.
Oh, that's great.
online.
Well, I don't have that discipline.
But
to
it's
do
better,
it
but it's
online.
better. Well, I do. I
Right.
have to at this time because I never did before.
Right.
So now I'm doing the things I really want
right.
to do.
Uh-huh.
And it makes life a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Now my biggest passion is doing these podcasts and talking with people.
Mm-hmm.
I've been enjoying that.
Right.
Yes. So what are your plans? You're going to do the music. You have
Yeah, and
that. What
also
else?
I think it's a global world, as you know, compared to 30, 40 years ago. There are a lot of deals happening globally. There are a lot of investors on the buyers or sellers interacting worldwide. I think this trend is, of course, it's going to be there in the future, and it's going to more increase. So, looking at my background, I think what I could be a little bit of some supportive to somebody to get involved some international. So I may be doing somewhat similar to what I'm doing, but I need to think.
But didn't you have a company where you actually have older people that
Right.
come in that were in executive positions,
Right.
and you basically hire them out. It's
Yeah.
like a temporary situation. You still do that as well?
Yeah, we do. I do a lot of that.
You still do a lot of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So you plan on continuing that until?
Yeah, until I don't know.
Until
when.
until the end.
Right.
Do you see any time in the near future where you're going to slow down, or do you see yourself having another good 20 or 30 years left?
Oh, well, it depends on my health, but I
But
think
how is your
there are a
health?
lot of things I need to learn. The music is another one. So also, I'm not very good at the ITs, right? And my generation people, right?
Don't say that, because I'm your generation and I'm doing IT. I love it.
Be it the banking or some
banking,
industry corporations, the CEO of big companies, they don't know. I don't know about ITs. But if you know the IT, there may be something that I may see that I haven't seen before.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's a new thing. So I think trying new things is really a key. Right.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, IT is the key to the future anyway.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
everyone's going that way.
Right.
And I think that's been the downfall of most of the westernized countries.
Right. Yeah.
Because IT's taking so many people out of their jobs, and they stop producing things, and they're getting into this virtual world,
Yeah.
but letting the real world go to the side. But Japan isn't.
Right.
For whatever reason, Japan tends to be developing and keeping everything. Their maintenance here, I'd like to find out more about why the maintenance is so advanced here. They maintain their roads, they maintain their buildings. They're constantly keeping everything maintained.
Yeah.
Other countries don't.
Right. Well, that's what the Japanese do well, right? What if they know what they need to do? They do a superb job in art or the many other things in helping tourists, other things. What Japan needs is really to invest and start new things. Well, it's been said so many years. I think a lot of people, employees of Japanese corporations and all the CEOs as well, they're good at maintaining what they have and improve a little bit based on what they have. But what Japan needs is really to invest in something new and not afraid of making mistakes.
Right.
Yeah, that's a culture. Japanese don't want to make mistakes, compared to the United States people.
Or other countries.
Yeah,
They're
right,
risk
yeah.
adverse.
Right.
They will not take the risk.
Yeah.
That's why they don't actually, when you start a company here, first of all, companies will start, let's say they're in manufacturing.
Right.
And in other countries, they'll have a certain amount of money put aside for risk.
Yeah.
If something unexpected.
Right.
Japan does.
Yeah, I think
They say, no,
yeah.
we won't even go. If you tell us there's risk, they don't want to touch it.
Right. I think it's still a part of culture.
Right.
Maybe getting better compared to the old days, but still that culture exists. If you start new things, if you're a CEO and start new things, and if it fails, and a lot of people say, I told you.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right.
And well, some people had to
Yeah.
actually, it was even detrimental to them.
Right.
They
Yeah.
take themselves out and their whole family because
Right.
you can't fail but once.
Right. So that's why they don't want to take a risk. They were afraid of taking risk and making mistake. On the
That's
other
a
hand,
good
in the U.S., I spent 15, 16 years in the United States and worked in also Wall Street. But they said, well, good try, right? You did a good try, you failed, but that's totally different. So Japanese are very comfortable keeping status quo and they improve a little bit, but investing in new or using new cash. That's what Japanese corporation right now, even though they are making a lot of money, according to newspaper media, but they are not investing in a way that U.S. counterparts or the other parts of the world do. And that's one of the reasons that Japan was now very behind in IT and new technology, right? Yeah.
But Japan is also, once they do focus on something,
Right.
they go wholeheartedly.
That's right. Yeah.
They go
do.
wholeheartedly
Right,
into it.
Right.
They have a saying in the U.S., with getting back to the risk part, they used to say that most millionaires go bankrupt 3 times before they hit the mother lode.
Oh, really? Oh.
You've never heard that before?
No, I've never heard
They
that.
go bankrupt 3 times. Bankruptcy? That's how Americans, a lot of them
I
are
see.
taught.
I see.
You can go bankrupt, so what? You just get up and do it over again.
I see.
But it's really not that easy, of course, because
Right.
there's a lot of emotion involved in starting a
Right,
company
yeah.
and dealing with other
Yeah,
people and them losing their jobs.
Right.
If you can live
Right,
through
right.
3 bankruptcies, you might become wealthy, but that's the biggest thing.
Right.
So it's interesting. So you're going to go on and continue to advise and look for the next big deal.
Well, I don't know if there are
Yeah, I
people
think
who
it'd be
wants
busy.
wants to receive my advice. You know, I mean,
Well, a deal like that, I think everyone's going to come knocking on your door continually. How would they contact you if they wanted to get advice from you?
They know if you, you know,
Just go.
type my name in the internet.
Right.
They can they
Okay.
know.
All right, well, they can find it from this podcast because, of course, your full name will be
Right.
on there, and they
Yeah,
can
yeah.
find out what you've done.
Yeah.
That's good. And your family's doing well. Your daughters
Yes,
are doing well.
Right, right. They're, I have 2 daughters, but they're
Right.
not interested in financials. Maybe because of me.
They don't have to
Yeah,
be because
they're
Dad's taking care of all
interested
that.
in the more spiritual things. 2 of my daughters got a license in yoga.
Mm-hmm.
One went to Nepal years ago to get a license, stayed there for a couple of months, and the other one is going to India. No, she got a license in India, but she's going to, actually next week she's going to India, Mumbai and some suburban area in Mumbai to get the highest
Level.
degree in yoga.
Does she plan on ever teaching, or is it just for personal?
She doesn't want to teach. She's just
Just personal.
Her job is this kind of freelance in IT,
Right.
creating homepage.
Well, she knows IT, so she can help you out a little bit. Let me ask you, there's something I didn't do and didn't start till recently in my podcast.
Yeah.
I'm just curious what you would say. I ask people on my podcast before I end it one question.
Mm.
With all the knowledge you have now, Akio, if you could go back in time
Mm.
and give advice to the younger Akio, how old would that Akio be, and what advice would you give him?
Oh, I don't know. I divorced twice in my life, so I would say to him, be nice to young girls.
I can't think of any better
Right.
advice. Thank you so much. I want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. Never forget, it's all on loan, so continue to reach for the stars.
Because you are too blessed to be stressed.